what has happened is terrible because he contributed so much to the economy of this country. He employed a lot of people. So she never saw her father again. But there was one case of an employee that he was working at the bank that he founded, and he was found by my grandfather stealing money, go and die in the mountains. It was winter. They had no clothes, essentially, almost nothing. From being a very respectable and wealthy family, suddenly nothing, absolutely nothing. We managed to recover some properties, including Wolf of One. That was actually the major property that we managed to recover.
Mr. Pignatelli, you're on the quest to restore the family fortune that was stolen to your grandfather. Who was your grandfather?
My grandfather was a man of great culture. He had a bachelor in economy, in agriculture. He was a banker in Ljubljana. He had several properties, also agricultural properties around Ljubljana. He had properties in Bled, 3 beautiful villas, in fact, where my mother was born. My mother was born in Bled. And he was a very modest person, incredibly intelligent, incredibly kind, and hardworking. He was very much a family person, and he took care of, his kids. He had 3 kids. He was really an incredible person.
I believe he was also the good employee to his, to people who worked for him.
He was very generous. He was very attentive to the needs of the employees. Everybody loved him. But there was one case of an employee that he was working at the bank that he founded, and he was found by my grandfather stealing money. So he fired him. He was quite a high-ranking person in the bank. And apparently, because of the resentment of this person towards my grandfather, after the war, he has been contacting the authorities to denounce that my grandfather had helped the Nazi when they came into Slovenia, and that he helped naming people to be killed, to be arrested and killed by the Germans. Something was absolutely untrue, and that he was proven later in court when my aunt decided to put all her energy to rehabilitate him, and so she came here to find families, people that were actually saved by my grandfather, that were hidden in his properties, not to have the Germans find them. And so the court rehabilitated my grandfather.
When was that?
That was in early 90s.
Your grandfather had a German surname. He was not German.
He was, he was a family from Munich, but then they moved to Austria, to Graz, and then later on they moved to Ljubljana. Ljubljana used to be Slovenia used to be part of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire back then. And he loved Slovenia, so he established his life here. And what has happened is terrible because he contributed so much to the economy of this country. He employed a lot of people. He built this building that is just depicted here on the screen, that is on Wolfover 1, right in the center. And he built it in the 1930s. And this is the largest building in the center. It was the most modern building at the time. And so he put a lot of his work, attention,
Basically his heart.
His heart into Ljubljana. And what the communist regime did was to believe that he collaborated with the Nazi. And so they arrested him. They took away all his properties. From one day to the other, he was in jail. He had nothing. And he stayed in jail for several months. They tortured him. And then at the end, they took him into the countryside. They ordered him to get undressed. And then they say, run. And he thought he was going to be let free. And instead, they shot him as he was running. Before that, my mother, my aunt, the entire family, they were dragged into jail. My mother stayed in jail for a few months. She told me horrible. She told me horrible things about her staying in jail and what she saw other prisoners suffer, and I mean, really, truly horrible stories. She couldn't obviously communicate with her father. They were in the same jail, but I mean, the same building, but in opposite places. So she never saw her father again. And then one day, the authorities, they brought my mother, her sister, and the two kids of my sister close to the Alps, and they said, go and die in the mountains. It was winter. They had no clothes, essentially, almost nothing. They started walking, they climbed up, and the Americans actually saved them. So my mother managed to go to Rome, and my aunt instead went to live in Brazil. And the brother of my mother instead, thank God he was not arrested because he was overseas, so he went to live in Ghana in Africa. So the entire family was devastated by these events, basically. From being a very respectable and wealthy family, suddenly nothing, absolutely nothing. My mother went to Rome. She was a beautiful woman, and she got hired to be a model. So then she met my father, and they got married, and here I am, along with my brother. And my aunt instead went to live in Brazil, in Rio, and she was just teaching German as a living. So really a very difficult life.
Well, family was scattered, of course, because of these actions of the communists. But did you know that apparently your grandfather was on special list to be persecuted? There was a few years ago, there was a list, list which was issued by the command, the headquarters of the Slovenian partisans, and they said the Ljubljana chapter of the Communist Party to find some accusations for people on these lists because their property is earmarked to be residence of the new Slovenian establishment of the ministers and senior functionaries. Did you ever heard that he was on this list?
Yes, I heard that. And how he got on that list,
But probably someone said that he liked his property, simply.
Yeah. Very possible. They took everything away. The bank obviously had gold, money. Everything was stolen. In the building in Wolfovo 1 where they lived, they had art, they had furniture, beautiful furniture, 3 automobiles, everything was gone. No way to be found. The 3 villas in Bled, same story, they took away everything. Then some of these communist regime officers, they lived there. And then later on they got destroyed, and now there is this big hotel.
So it was already destroyed before they could return this property.
They destroyed them. There were 3 beautiful villas. They destroyed them to build this large modern hotel. And we were never compensated for all this. We managed to recover some properties, including Wolfovo 1. That was actually the major property that we managed to recover, some land. From that point on, my mother unfortunately was advised to be dealing with Hiša Pravice as a lawyer, to represent her interests in getting land back, and the building was already given back, but to manage the building because it had to be renovated, so to deal with the city, to deal with the authorities, etc. And at the time when this building was returned, several of my cousins, they were the heirs of the brother of my mother and my sister, they decided to sell.
For how long it takes to this house on Wolfovo be restored to you? I mean, really restored.
When returned?
Returned, yes.
Yeah, was more or less 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, from
10 years when you put the documents for restitution of the property, and then it took 10 years that they officially said, yes, okay, this is your property again.
Yeah, well, it didn't happen that way. It happened through the rehabilitation of my grandfather. So because he was rehabilitated, so he was found
not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yes.
And because the properties that were taken away because he was found guilty, so then at that point we asked for the properties back because that was the natural consequence. But the interesting thing is that my aunt didn't think about that. She just wanted her father to be rehabilitated. She said, my father was innocent, I want him to be recognized. And so then after that event, the attorney told my aunt, technically, because everything was taken away from him because he was found guilty, now we can actually ask back for the properties. And so we initiated the process, and the court functioned properly at the time, and they granted the properties back.